Remaining inward, listen to these words from Swamiji on concentration, our affirmation for self-healing. Concentration is the secret of success in every undertaking. Without concentration, thoughts, energy, inspiration, purpose, all one's inner forces become scattered. Concentration is the calm focus of one's full attention on the purpose at hand. Concentration means more than mental effort. It means channeling your heart's feelings, your faith, and your deep aspirations into whatever you are doing. In that way, even the little things in life can become rich with meaning. Concentration should not involve mental strain. When you really want something, it is difficult not to think about it. Concentrate with interest on whatever you do, and you will find yourself absorbed in it. We'll now practice the affirmation together. You can repeat after me, and we'll first do it in a loud speaking voice. Whatever I do in life,
Whatever I do in life,
I give it my full attention.
I give it my full attention.
Like a laser beam,
Like a laser beam,
I burn from before me
I burn from before me
all problems,
all problems,
all obstructions.
all obstructions.
And now a bit quieter in a speaking voice. Whatever I do in life,
Whatever I do in life,
I give it my full attention.
I give it my full attention.
Like a laser beam,
Like a laser beam,
I burn from before me
I burn from before me
all problems,
all problems,
all obstructions.
all obstructions.
And now softly in a whisper, whatever I do in life,
I do in life,
I give it my full attention.
I give it my full attention.
Like a laser beam,
Like a laser beam,
I burn from before me
I burn from before me
all problems, all obstructions.
obstructions.
And now silently repeating, this time from the point between the eyebrows, absorbing deeply into your soul these words as truth. Whatever I do in life, I give it my full attention. Like a laser beam, I burn from before me all problems, all obstructions. And now feeling this affirmation, the prayer for concentration, deep within your heart as I read these words. Help me to see thee, Lord, as the scriptures describe thee, the most relishable. Help me to concentrate on thee, my gaze, my love, my aspirations, my entire being. Om. And feel free to keep your eyes closed as we do our Rays of the One Light, our reading on the weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. This week, the topic is how democratic is truth? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. We live in an age when people assume that knowledge should be available equally to all. And matters susceptible of judgment by normal common sense, however, everyone knows there are exceptions. Access to a control room for intercontinental missiles is limited by universal consent to a very few. Access to the controls of a passenger airline is limited to those with the necessary knowledge for operating them, and also to those with the proper authorization. If people don't see the disadvantages of making more subtle knowledge universally available, it is only because they are ignorant of the risks involved. In the case of subtle knowledge, the main disadvantage in making it universally available is the harm it might do to one who isn't ready for it and who might even mock it. True, by mocking truth, he might undermine the faith of a few truth seekers, but then such tests can also be beneficial as a means of strengthening faith. Again, true, the clever doubter's misrepresentation of those truths may dissuade a few seekers from following the spiritual path. But if a seeker really is sincere, they will recognize the truth eventually because it resonates with their own being. No, the greater problem accrues to the shallow doubter. To give an opportunity to affirm ignorance might only estrange us even more from the truth, delaying the time when we will turn, as all people must eventually, to the light. Thus, the scriptures advise not secrecy, but discretion in the sharing of truth. Jesus Christ says in the Gospel of St. Matthew, chapter 7, "Give not that which is holy unto dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you." And Sri Krishna says in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, "Never speak of these truths to one who is without self-control or devotion, who renders no service, who does not care to hear, or who speaks ill of me." Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm going to start with the whispers today. And this is a demand to the Holy Trinity. O Heavenly Trinity, Om Tat Sat. God, the transcendent Father, God, the immanent Christ consciousness, and God, the holy, creative, vibratory force of all creation. Grant me the wisdom to know thy truth through my self-effort and my knowing acceptance of the law. Help me up the golden ladder of realization to stand at last on the shining summit of attainment, face to face with the one Spirit, perfect, everlasting bliss. Put your hand up if you've ever had
Yeah.
ever had readings that you've gone, wow, I get it now. And
Oh,
next thing you know, you're around friends or family and they talk about something and you just blurt it out. Oh, that's reincarnation. Oh, that's karma. Oh, do you know there's a planet that we go to after death if our spirit's high enough called Uranyaloka? And up there, we're all in this realm of, uh, it's interesting, isn't it? And we're all of different ages and experiences and life and lifetimes. And it's amazing that there's a little lesson in it, and that is realistically, truth is okay and truth is always there, but you've got to be ready for it. You absolutely have to be ready for it. Otherwise, it doesn't become truth. It's that underlying force that eventually we're all on this path together and we're all journeying. And, it's a wonderful thing where, you find this truth within something and then all of a sudden go, why didn't I know about this earlier? And then when you think or reflect back to when you were earlier, there was parts of life that just didn't ever make sense, you know? So we've got to be ready to hear and understand. And then when you understand the big picture of reincarnation and how many lifetimes and that we go through and to perpetuate it, and then all of a sudden you're in this position where you know, you're urgent and you're desperate to keep moving forward. And, you know, it's that journey up the spine. It's from being down in those lower chakras for a long period of time. And all of a sudden, the centerpiece, the heart, starts opening up and it starts drawing up all these different things that come out. So today we're going to watch a video of Swami on truth, which is kind of really cool. But before I do, I just wanted to share one really cool story. And I was learning about at university about some Aboriginal culture, and you think, well, Aboriginal culture has been 65,000, but up to 105 or 100,000 years. And it's so interesting, isn't it, when you think about how many yuga cycles that they would have been through and what really brought to where we are. And but my main point there was we were learning about the languages that they had in the countries within, you know, the Australia and Torres Strait Islands. And I think there was, I'm not going to quote it because I could be wrong, but 240 to 270 different languages. And I think there's only a handful left. And the question that was posed to us is, are those other languages extinct
Hmm.
that have not been spoken? And my answer straight away was, yeah, sure, because they're not spoken anymore. But to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples, they don't believe that. Why? Because language is their ability to communicate with what they've been given. And they believe that regardless of where you are in your place or position within this life, the language will come to help you to describe underlying truths within things. So therefore, language is kind of an important thing. And we kind of, when you think about it in a way, it's the same as an underlying truth of all of us. It's like, well, it's perspective, it's time, it's place. I heard this interesting engineer talk about whether electric vehicles are worth it. And he was an electrical engineer and professor for many, many years. And he said, well, let's flip it. Let's imagine that we all had electric vehicles. And then he said, someone introduced a combustion engine. Here we are. We now need a vehicle that we need to put a volatile liquid into it to run it. Then we have to have controlled explosive actions to create energy. And then to do that, we have to have these oil-fueled mechanisms that control gearbox and speed and all these kind of things. And it's interesting, isn't it? Well, where are we in our perspective of truth, and where do we keep evolving and keep moving forward? So as we sort of move on and have a look at this amazing video from Swamiji, we might have to stop recording or otherwise it'll drop everyone off.
Oh, good point.
So we've learned this, that if you...
That video series is really great because as that was actually video number one, and the whole series is called Ask Me About Truth. And something that Swamiji often shared is, you know, when we look at the world and we think about our concept of democracy, our concept of scientific discovery, our concept of who's right, who's wrong, ultimately, part of what makes this be passed on in a way that still honors that truth that Swamiji realized from tuning into Yogananda, who passed it on from Babaji and Sri Yukteswar and Lahiri and Jesus. And it's the understanding that we have to do this work and we have to look to people who have done the work for our answers as an example. And then by attuning to that, it's like a dharmocracy, he called it. So in some situations, you'd look to the popular vote, I don't know how to go into that more, but just the fact that we we often think that we have to look to the people who know from within what's right. And then until we can do that ourselves, we use that as an example. And then that will help us to grow in our wisdom and joy and understanding of what's right. So that's kind of a neat way that Swamiji led, was through dharmocracy. And dharma just means to do that which is right action, which is truth of God, what is aligning us with God, with harmony, with joy, with renunciation of ego.
Yeah, it's such a powerful um, message that Swami brings, you know, and he brought so many underlying truths within it. And of course, even just watching that video, if you weren't ready to listen or hear those things, then they wouldn't make as much sense, or they would make different sense to different people depending on where they're at. And it's important to remember that you're on an individual journey. You all have an individual ability to find truth within, and that's the important part of this journey. It's kind of a bit like, you know, if you had a garden with different plants at different levels, you might have an established plant, you might have a new seedling, you might have all these different things. It's kind of weird with the weather that we're having at the moment. But each one of those needs fundamentals. They need truth, they need water and food and sunlight to continue to grow. But if you gave the same amount of water to each one, there would be ones that would survive and ones that wouldn't. And if you put that into a big perspective over the planet, but lifetimes and of how that works, it's the fact that we've all had our individual and we're all at different stages within that. And how open we are to those truths depends on how much we're going to flourish and continue to grow. So that's that reality of it, and goes back to that story of language of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders peoples. They believe, again, truth, that that language will be given if it's required, if they attune to it. Now, they might give it a different God or a different name to those things, but the underlying truth is that that's correct. If all things happen, we'll still keep evolving. And the underlying truth of yoga will always be there, regardless of these things, and it's spoken about in all levels. And, you know, Autobiography of a Yogi is particularly a great story because every saint that Yogananda went to, including scientists, including botanists, including all the different states of the East, sadhus and the West, they all had a different message, but it was all an underlying truth that was came through all of them. And it's a big picture view of where we're all at. So that democracy of truth is always there. We're finding it at our right time. So,
and if you think of that, what you're describing is Sanatan Dharma, which means the eternal truth. And that's what our path is doing when it says we're uniting East and West with the original message of God. And that's Sanatan Dharma. And the affirmation this week being concentration, Swamiji's visual of drilling in so deep is what concentration would look like if it were given an image, because we're attuned to finding truth and giving it everything we've got and such a laser beam of focus that the success will occur, because by coming in and drawing all the energy into the center, then we can attune to divine everywhere. So it's an incredible thing that at the center of all of us, from the point of perception, intuitive perception of the heart, we can realize everything and be achieving unity or true yoga. So what a joy to get to do that together. Just a little thought about the garden. You're all companion plants with each other. So if you've heard of the idea of companion planting, and you think about what is a spiritual family, So we're all our own little plant, but we like to be companions and we're actually helping each other to grow. So that's just something sweet that came to my mind when you were talking about the gardening image. And so we'll end with a song. We have a really beautiful one today, Mother of Wisdom.
Shall we throw out a challenge for the week while you're bringing that up? Let's see if we can pick up our moods and see if we can use what Swamiji's little tool was this time. And that's just sitting for 5 minutes and drawing all your energy up to the spiritual eye and see if it makes a difference. And then we'll have a questionnaire and a test next week to see if you've done.
Oh, and while we have you all here, reminder, tomorrow's our first Monday of the month Kriya meditation, which starts at 5:30 and goes to 7 and then class. So I'll go ahead and stop recording and then play
Not
it.
after 7, that's at night.
Thank you.